vSpatial is out. Alcove VR will be out this week. Epic goes to war with Apple. Nreal Light news. Oculus Venues rolls out a limited beta. Onward has a huge patch, and more news on this episode of the VR Untethered podcast. Hello and welcome. I am Joshua. This is a solo edition of the VR Untethered podcast because Brad is unfortunately sick and not able to attend, and my apologies for the mic being off there at the beginning when I transitioned back. That was a mess up on my part. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm feeling lazy right now because I went to a lot of work to make this more polished in many other ways than our normal episodes are. So, anyways, with no further ado, let me just start off by reminding you that this is your weekly untethered source of untethered weekliness and insanity. And sometimes inanity also. With that out of the way, I am still not Brad. And wherever Brad is, he is still not me. So, highlights this week for me is I got to try out a few side quest apps. One of them was called Hitstream, and it is aimed at being a fitness app. It's basically a music rhythm app, but its focus is on fitness and not, it's a rhythm game. So it's not as punishing as Beat Saber or Synth Riders or Audica or whatever, where if you miss too many notes, you're out. You could probably miss all the notes and you still get to the end. You just wouldn't have a score, because this is aimed at trying to provide a workout. So in this sense, it's a little bit more like Box VR, which is now Fit XR. And in this app, you can punch with your right hand or your left hand. There are orbs that come at you that you can hit with either hand. There are uppercuts, there's hooks, and there's smashing, and there's punching in an upward direction. There's also blocking and ducking, and there are circles that come at you that you have to get your head through. That might be at head height, might be lower, might be on the left, on the right. So, all in all, it's a pretty good app. It does feel a little bit buggy sometimes because there is a haptic feedback on the controllers when you make contact with the target, and I've noticed that that's not always firing. So it makes me feel like it didn't register the hit on the target, yet at the end of the map, or of the workout, I've got that hit registered. So it throws me off a little bit when that happens. But outside of that, it is pretty good. It's got nice environment, it's got nice music, it's got a good mix of going up and down and then turning, because it's also a 360 environment that the targets that come at you from. So all in all, is pretty good, and it's currently free on SideQuest. the other side quest game that I played. And I'm gonna be getting a video for his stream up on my own channel sometime this next week. And going back to what I was about to say, this next side quest title that I tried is Virtuoso. The name may be changing, I don't know, because the Virtuoso is not really easy to separate from other uses of the word when you do a search for it, so it's not really a good searchable game title. So he may be changing it to Virtuoso VR or whatever later on, but for now it is Virtuoso. I have a couple videos on it up on my channel. I will probably link to at least one of those at the end of this video after everything's uploaded and processed. But it is a music creation app, and it's pretty cool. Now, way back when, before I got the Quest and all I had was the VR, I was looking forward to checking out Exa Infinite Instrument whenever I got a chance to maybe get an upgraded computer or get something that could let me access it somehow. And that is a music creation app that was designed for VR. Now, as you may know, if you've watched my channel at all, I have Instrument Studio VR on Steam, or on Oculus, rather. I think it's on. I've got the Oculus Rift version, but it might be the Steam version. I forget. Anyways, it is a music creation app, a DAW, a digital audio workstation, that has real instruments around you. So it's got a real drum set, it's got a real piano, it's got a real keyboard, it's got a real synthesizer, it's got a real bass guitar, it's got a real electric guitar, etc. Which is cool and all, except there's one drawback. With the Oculus Touch controllers, you have and that as your input. So, you don't have all 5 of your fingers. You've only got basically index finger and thumb, and maybe if you're, a curled group of the other fingers. So you can't really do chords too well. You have to play the piano and the synthesizer like one finger at a time, or you can do like an L shape and hit 2 notes, but it can be hard to hit the precise notes. Exa Infinite Instrument was designed for VR from the ground up, and saying let's not use realistic instruments, let's just use impossible instruments, and so you can create a shape that is a note of whatever instrument. And if you want a chord, you just put one note here, one note here, one note there, and you just strike all the way through it, and it's a chord. And what was also cool about that is you could strike this way and strike that way. So instead of having to go like that, you could just go, and you'd be strumming it like a guitar. So, and it looked like a really cool app. And at some point, had a month or 2 ago, I got it because I can do PC VR now thanks to a virtual desktop and the Quest. And he's got it so it doesn't, for various reasons, it doesn't work very well with Oculus runtime. So I was a little bit bummed because I didn't have a good solution for not realistic instruments and in music creation software. So, but now there is. It's called Virtuoso, and it's on SideQuest, and it's in early access in the Oculus Rift store. And in it, you have 6 or 7 instruments, including a microphone. And you can spawn them and despawn them whenever you want. And they are... my favorite one of them is probably the organ. And that's organ. I'm not entirely sure why it's got an extra O at the beginning, but it's an organ or an organ. And you can it's a well you can go and watch my video to see what it looks like, how it sounds, how it is played and all that. But imagine an array of like 4 rows of blocks in front of you going that way, and they extend that way like 5 more rows that way, and it's got like 10 columns left to right, and each of those is something you can interact with and make a note. And what's ingenious about it is you can activate a note with the trigger button, which is that entire vertical column is one note. So you can move your controller up and down on that, and it's all the same note. But if you move left or right, the note changes. If you hold down the A button or the X button, if you're using your left hand, that changes to the horizontal line, and it plays a bass note. And you can play both of them at the same time. So if you want to have a long sustained single bass note and then play a melody on top of it, just hold down the A button on bass note and then just move left and right on that line, and it plays the melody notes on top of it. When you squeeze the grip button, it plays yet a third dimension, and that's on the Z-axis, going back on those roads that are going away from you, and you play notes there also. So it's a very versatile instrument, and Virtuoso allows you to record loops. So you can record a loop, and then while that loop is playing, record another loop, and build on that like a looping instrument thing, which is what it is. It's still in beta. It's still being worked on. So there are some bugs with it periodically. And but I am really liking it so far. It is fun to play with, fairly easy to use, and I see a lot of potential in it. It's got drum pads that can, like, I think 8 different drum pads, some of which are special effect pads, and they've all got multiple instrument sounds that you can put on them, and you can pull them off of the big panel in front of you, position them wherever you want to make it easier for you to play. And so I was able to emulate a little bit some of the X Infinite Instruments playing style by taking one drum pad, placing it here, taking another one, placing it here, but turning it upside down, and then a third one here, so that I could play it by making a sine wave motion through it. So boom, boom, boom. So anyways, those were my major highlights of the week, along with playing Onward, which I am going to be talking more about later. So that said, done with the highlights. Let's move on to the new releases of the week. We have vSpatial came out. It is a productivity app that is like Virtual Desktop, is like Immersed, but it's its own take on it. It has a carousel around you that you can put whatever applications you have open on your computer into that carousel, and they're like, I want to say, it feels like about that big window, so like a laptop screen size. You can then maximize them into a focus mode so that it's only that window in a giant 120-inch TV size, and have that be a focus mode where you're only looking at that window, and then shrink it back down, go to the others. It's got collaboration options, and I haven't had a chance to play with that yet. And it has a basketball mode where you can put up a mini basketball hoop, and you have mini basketballs that you can toss into it. And I gotta say, the throwing mechanics for the basketball on there are really good. That's not the reason you should go out and get it if you're going to, but the basketball throwing mechanics are really good. I can make almost every shot that I want to make, whereas in Rec Room, it's very difficult. In Virtual Battlegrounds, because they have a basketball court, it is very difficult to make a shot. In Contractors, and their basketball court, is very difficult to make a shot. But in vSpatial, it's much more realistic. If you had a mini basketball hoop on your door, like I've got a door behind me, and hang it there and go, no, I am bored, I'm just going to go, shoot some hoops into the, you'll be making most of your shots at that close range. So, it feels good. What does not feel good about it is the keyboard. It's got a virtual keyboard, and I believe you can use a physical keyboard and mouse. I think it's got a Bluetooth keyboard functionality, or you can always just use the physical keyboard that's on your computer as well, I believe. But the virtual keyboard is very tiny and is very far away from you, but by default you can bring it closer, but it's one of the ones where if you want to get to any of the punctuation keys, like you want to type a contraction like can't, you have to hit the switch to punctuation mode key, and then hit the apostrophe, then switch back to the letters, and then hit T. So that is clunky. It should be set up more like a regular full keyboard, in my opinion. But the other thing that I don't really like about the keyboard is it is sticky. You can't go THE to type the. You go T and you try to move to H, but there's a half a second before you can move the pointer off of the T after you click. Now I imagine that's probably done because of latency issues and making sure that you don't hit the wrong key and all that stuff, but it feels really clunky, and it goes, it makes me feel like I'm going back to being a kid where all I could do was T H E, so the keyboard needs a little bit of work, in my opinion. But outside of that, it seems really good. The resolution is a little bit lower than Virtual Desktop and Immersed, but I would imagine that would probably improve as the app gains traction and it gets updates and all that. I would imagine that would improve. So, it is a free app. It has premium upgrade stuff, involving social features and I forget all the features that unlock with premium upgrade, but it does have a premium upgrade option. So, but it is free, and most of the functionality that you would normally want is available in the free mode. So now there was another new release, Synthwriter's Cyberpunk update. They have a new album, I guess, a new music pack available for it. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. They are holding a giveaway. I think, I forget what the deadline is supposed to be on that. If I remember, I will put it in the comments. But they are holding a giveaway for the music pack on Gleam.io. And in addition, they have added some new features as well. PC users can now customize what colors they are using for the prismatic note modifier, so that it better matches their channel themes or whatever. And Twitch streamers, there is Twitch integration with it now, so that your channel, your chat, can send obstacles to you when they donate bits. Well, not really obstacles, enemies. I believe they are calling them invaders, and they are ships that come flying in and shoot at you, and you can either block the shots or you can dodge the shots. So that's a fun little addition to the PC users who are streaming this on Twitch. So I am looking forward to trying out the update. I have not had a chance to yet. And that brings us to the last new release, which is in VRChat. There is a new horror escape room game called The Devouring, and it people had, or it had a full FAQ related to it, FAQ as a lot of people like to say. I always say FAQ, but it had a fact sheet dedicated to it. It had an official launch date of August 14th, and a little bit of hype building up to it. They had stuff recommended for streamers who are wanting such a streamers, etc., and it's supposed to take up to 5 to 6 hours to work through it all. And it also promises that it's not a jump scare based one. So it's supposed to be more of a creepy atmospheric one, which is more what I like. I have not had a chance to try that out yet because that's a big chunk of time to set aside. But I did look on YouTube, and there are some speed runs of it already that are like hour and a half. I think one was like about a 30-minute one. So, but it looks like a cool game that's made within VRChat, and I believe that it's kind of the last hurrah for the old VRChat programming language or way of making worlds, because they are switching over to Udon, and which is more powerful in its own right, but I guess this was like a last hurrah for the original way of doing things. So I'm looking forward to trying that out when I get a chance, and I'll probably post something on it on my personal channel. This is, I believe, PC only though, not for Quest. A lot of the good VRChat stuff is, unfortunately. That's just the way it works. So, upcoming titles. We have Alcove VR coming August 20th, which is later this week. I'm recording this Sunday morning. So, that is a social app that lets you watch things together, look at pictures together, hang out together in the same environment, jump into some games together, etc. It's billed as family sharing, or I think that's the term they use for it, but it's billed as your family sharing, family living room environment in VR. And I tried this out ages ago when it was on the Gear VR and the Oculus Go. And it's a really good app. I really liked it. It didn't have a whole lot of traction back then, but given that it's going to be on the Quest now, it might get a lot more traction because often things that are on the Quest do. But it was a very well done app. I liked it a lot better than I did Oculus Rooms, which was kind of the same idea, but very limited. Alcove is it feels like you are in an actual house. Oculus Rooms never really felt like that. It felt like you were in a very small 2-room I don't know, cartoon, I guess, kind of. It didn't feel like it was so realistic at all. As far as, well, Alcove is using kind of photorealistic looking stuff. Oculus Rooms was not, and you were limited to 4 customizable photo spots. In Alcove, you've got a lot more than that, and you can put in your own videos for you all to watch together, etc. So it was, in my opinion, a lot better than Oculus Rooms, but it didn't really catch on the Go and the Gear VR as much as I think it probably should have. But we'll see if it does on the Quest. Given that Facebook Horizon is not yet out, this might have a chance to gain some traction before Horizon comes out. We shall see. And we also have upcoming in October, Little Witch Academia Broom Racing VR. I ages ago on my Gear VR, I played a game that was Little Witch Pie Delivery Service or something like that. And you were flying on a broom. You had to guide it through rings and power-ups and avoid obstacles and all that. So kind of like a Subway Surfer sort of thing, and Endless Runner. And I don't know if this is related to that or just shares a similar name, but this is an anime-inspired title. I do believe it looks like it in the artwork for it. And you are going to be flying a broom and racing. I don't know too much more about it other than that, and it's supposed to be coming in October. If we find out more news about it, we will share it and let you know. So, alright, new releases and upcoming titles done with. And now let's go to news. As I hinted earlier, Apple and Epic are going to war with each other. Now, I know this isn't strictly VR related because they're going... Epic is going to war with Apple because of Apple's policies about the 30% cut and what developers can and can't do with their own games on the App Store. So more flat and mobile stuff, but still, Epic has a big foothold in VR, well, a big-ish one. Apple is moving into VR, so this could potentially affect VR and AR as well. Everybody is looking forward to the Apple AR glasses and the Apple VR glasses, but there's going to be like a 30% Apple Store tax, as it were, on any of the games for it. And Epic this was a calculated move. They deliberately violated the terms of service in the Fortnite app, inviting people to bypass the in-app purchase and go straight to the Epic website and buy V-Bucks at a 20% discount and have it apply to their Fortnite account. That was a violation of terms of service, which is you can only or you cannot in your app encourage people to bypass the Apple ecosystem. And yes, it's not only Apple that this issue is with. Console games are the console version of the games, I would imagine, suffer the same problem. If it's in the Google Play Store, apps have the same issue there. It's a little bit different on Google devices, though, because you do have the freedom to install it from anywhere you want and bypass the Google Play Store. So if a developer doesn't want to play by the Google Play Store rules, they can make their app available straight from their website. They can put it in the Samsung store. They can put it in the Amazon App Store. They have options. And the users have options also. On the Apple side, the options are a lot scarcer and harder to make work. So this is Epic's attempt to get things changed, not only for them, but for all developers, to be able to have fair terms. So, how this will play out for VR and AR, I'm not entirely sure, but we will see. It's an interesting thing to know about, interesting thing to watch, and Epic kind of trolled Apple by reusing a historic ad from Apple as an anti-Apple ad. The famous 1984 Apple commercial in the Super Bowl where they were pretending they were in the 1984 story and fighting Big Brother and smashing the giant screen. Well, Epic did that as well, but with Apple as Big Brother. So, I didn't get the reference at first. My wife pointed it out to me because I wasn't, way back in the 80s, I wasn't really paying attention to Apple and whatnot on the TV commercials and whatnot. So, and I'm not sure I'd even read 1984 at the time, so I probably wouldn't have gotten the reference. So, but yes, that was well done, and obviously they had the video pre-made, ready to go as soon as they got the reaction from Apple that they wanted. So, hey, moving on. Nreal Light has some news. Nreal Light AR smart glasses will be bundled with the latest Samsung and LG smartphones, but only in Korea and I think another Asian country. I forget which exactly, but it's not in America that it's going to be bundled. So it'd be nice if it were, but for now it is not. So but that is interesting news. They are making some good moves, I think, in the marketing. It's a very smart move to bundle it with a phone, and if they can work out a similar deal here in America or in the UK or anywhere else that a bundle deal like that is able to be done, that would help them get a lot more sales of their device. I mean, the Gear VR was one of the most popular VR headsets for a long while because it was being bundled. It was being given away when you bought a new Samsung phone. So, this is a smart move, especially because you will need a phone to use the glasses. Our next little bit of news is there will be a Muse concert in VR. Muse Simulation Theory VR concert experience coming exclusively to Oculus Quest. We do not have a specific date, but it is coming in the fall. His most recent word that we have. This is their concert from last year, I believe. So Simulation Theory was a 2019 concert, and they are going to be making it into a VR experience exclusively to the Oculus Quest. I believe that they're also doing they're going to have flat screen viewing of it as well. But as far as the VR goes, it's going to be exclusively Oculus Quest. So that is also interesting news. I am looking forward to that. My wife is a big fan of Muse, so when it is out and available, I am sure she will be watching it. Our next bit of news is Oculus Venues Limited Beta. As I hinted earlier at the beginning of the show, Oculus Venues Limited Data, or Data Beta, includes the new Horizon avatars. This is from RJ Does VR on Twitter. As you may know RJ as the developer of Firezone and Sunshard and the Let's Go Chopping VR games that he is working on as well. So, as you can see, you have animated facial expressions that are tied to your physical gestures. So if you give a thumbs up, it does one thing. You get a thumbs down, another thing, horizontal thumb. So that's all very, very cool. And if you are one of the lucky few who has the beta available, sweet, go ahead and try it out and let everybody know what you think. And I did not get the update, so I'm a little bit bummed about that. But oh well, it'll come at some point. So, another bit of news is so someone has been working on motorized shoes for the for VR. So it will enable you to walk in VR with a motorized shoe. They have roars that go forward, roars that go sideways. No, that's kind of like the Omni treadmill. This didn't. My apologies. This touchscreen isn't really showing a whole lot of detail because it's taken over by the ad. But it's I saw the article on, as you saw there, Gizmodo. So feel free to go and look it up if you want. They are not available anywhere yet. This is just something someone is working on, and I believe there are plans for if you want to use a 3D printer and buy the parts and have your own and whatnot, but I believe it's not currently commercially available yet. So our next bit of news then is the huge Onward patch. And again, this isn't going to show the part of the screen that I want it to, so I'm just going to go read it off of the website here in my other window. Onward released a huge patch 1.8.2, and the highlights of the patch include the map vote getting stuck if the master client paused or left their play space. Fix some cases of the voice chat not being in the proper state and not audible. Player collision offsetting correctly if you place your head inside of a wall. They made the gunshots louder. They fixed the realistic gunshot setting and audio device setting, not saving your choices properly. They fixed the shadow resolution option, increased the speed of the AI death animations, fixed the holes in the back of AI meshes, slightly reduced the volume of tent chat, increased the volume of players if the voice chat is quiet. Suburbia has had vegetation change and some detail added, brightened indoors and Bazaar and Downfall, fixed some collision issues in Bazaar and Tanker, fixed some Z fighting on some assets in Suburbia, and a whole lot more that I didn't read there because there is literally a crap ton of updates there. So, but the point is that the game is still being worked on. They are working very hard to improve things and make it better. And in related news, the VRML, which has been on hiatus in terms of Onward, is extending the hiatus for 2 more weeks. So if you are looking to get on a VRML Onward team and you thought it was too late, if not, you still have at least another 2 weeks before a decision is made about how they are going to be handling it. They are extending it to 2 more weeks to give Downpour Interactive even more time to fix the issues in the game and to improve the graphics. Because I'm sure that's a big priority for the PC players, is have the better graphics back. So you have at least 2 more weeks. It might get extended again after that. I don't know. There is always the option that they could say, no, we're just going to roll it back to 1.7 and have it not for the Quest in this season until next season when everything is all better. But there is a concern with that if they do that, people are going to watch the VRML streams, go, oh wow, this game looks cool, and then they're going to buy it, and they're going to go, wait, this doesn't look like the game I watched. Bait and switch. So that's a concern also. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's being thought about, talked about. So hopefully it all gets sorted out, because I am looking forward to playing in a VRML league. So speaking of VRML, this is definitely not VRML. However, there was in VRChat, still going on, music VCat. This is a video showing one of the concerts that was going on during Music VCat. And what Music VCat is you can go into one of 5 worlds and is full of music samples for you to listen to and decide if you want to buy that album or that track or whatever. It's pretty cool, and on the upstairs level of each one, there's either a corporate booth or there's a associated band to booth or whatever. So there's an upstairs excuse me, and there's a downstairs, and in the downstairs where you are walking around and listening to all the audio, it is a pretty cool experience, but there's a lot of audio to be listening to it, and it's almost overwhelming. But it is, you approach the audio station, and the ambient world music that is going on in the background tones down and then shuts off, so that you can listen to the audio from the audio station in front of you instead. And it automatically opens up, presents you with a play button. You click play, and there's an audio visualization going on at the same time as you are listening to the sample tracks. So it's kind of like you're getting a mini concert from the one album. And the prices are anywhere from like 20,000 Japanese yen all the way down to 0. So there are some that are free, there are some that are really expensive. A few of them are marked in US dollars as opposed to Japanese yen. So some of the songs are like typical anime songs. Some are nightcore, deathcore, screamo. It covers the whole gamut there. So if you get a chance to check it out, I would recommend it. It is available for the Quest as well as PC VR. So that is a plus, and I'm impressed that they got it working. There was also, and I didn't realize this until I looked for the Music VRChat world to join, there's also a comic VRChat going on. And that is also available on Quest, but for Quest it's broken up into like 8 or 9 worlds, because you can't have that whole big world available on the Quest. And the comic VRChat is full of manga and comics, and you can pick up a little sampler thing that shows you some of the artwork styles or some panels from the actual manga or whatever. Flip through the pages of that, and then click an info button if you want to learn more and potentially buy it. So, and it's a huge world. It's like they've got each row like given a letter in the alphabet. It's not necessarily the entire English alphabet. It's missing a few letters, but it's like at least 23 rows, I believe. And each row has like I want to say 20 stalls in it. So there's 10 stalls that are facing this way, 10 stalls that are facing this way, and then the next row is right on the back of it, facing that way, facing this way. So, it got another crap ton manga and comics in it to peruse and to look at. So if you're into that sort of thing, go ahead and check it out. And now for our next little bit of news. Varho raises $54 million to bring VR with human eye resolution to more industries. So they are still reaching out to other industry, or expanding to the reach, so that they are in more fields, and that it's a very high-end device that I would not be able to afford, and even if I could, my computer could not handle it, because even though I do have a new computer that is capable of PCVR, I don't think it is capable of VRHO level resolution. But hey, if VRHO wants to send me something for me to test it out and see if I'm right or wrong about that, I'd appreciate that. I don't see that happening though, because we're a very small channel. So, but it's always good to see VR advancing even more, even if it's the high-end devices that are only really feasible for corporations and for enterprises, because that is still a very valid use case for VR, and that's one of the industries where I think it's going to shine. So even though I may not be able to take advantage of it and try it out, it is pretty exciting to know that it's out there, and that it's available. And our last little bit of news, speaking of other industries, has to do with education. This is a game, or app, rather. It's not so much a game, it's an educational app that has been out for a while in early access, but the 13th, I believe, it became fully released on Steam. And what this is it's kind of like Mind Show, in that you embody one of the characters, and you can put on a little performance and record it. The thing about this, though, is that it's aimed at historical figures. So it's got 8 historical figures: Abraham Lincoln, Benjamin Franklin, Harriet Tubman, Tecumseh, Sonia Sotomayor, etc. And it's aimed at enabling middle school, high school, etc. to learn about a historical figure, and then go into VR and give a speech about that figure as that figure. And you've got props available. You can pull up your speech notes so you have it set to read, and you don't have to just have it memorized. And they are making it free. Well, number one, it's on a 20% discount right now to begin with. But if you are an educator, you can get a key for free. And being a home educator counts as being an educator. So if you are homeschooling your kids because of the COVID lockdowns and a lot of the schools being on online only and whatnot, this is a tool that might very well supplement your kids' education in a very fun and memorable way. So I bought it yesterday, and I have not yet had a chance to try it out, but I look forward to doing so either later today or tomorrow, and I will probably post a video on my YouTube channel about it. So with that said, I do believe that is a wrap for the show. Just checking my notes here to see if I have anything else marked that I did not get to. My notes are not wanting to pull up quickly, so yeah. Yes, I did forget something. Google Lens has added a homework mode. Speaking of education and being at home with said education. I don't have a page to show you for that, but basically what this means is you will be able to take your Google phone and use Google Lens, which is accessed via the Google Assistant, etc., and point it at an equation, and it will either solve it for you or it will show you the steps, etc. So it's designed to help with math homework. I'm not entirely sure that I like this 100% because I could see this being used to cheat as well, So, but this has also a good learning tool. If you're working through a complex equation and you get stuck, being able to go, okay, Google Lens, okay, I got that. Oh, here's what I messed up. That's a useful thing to be able to do. Unfortunately, it seems like it might also run the risk of enabling cheating. So we'll see. On that note, it is time for me to end the show and to say goodbye, farewell, like, subscribe, drag your friends, and make them like and subscribe also. And make sure to hit that notification bell so you know when we have another insane episode for you to watch. And on that note, have a great rest of your week. Bye.